Electrolysis of copper sulphate solution is carried out under two conditions. The first condition is by using inert electrodes, that means platinum or graphite. And in the second condition, we use active electrodes, that is copper metal. So whether you take inert electrode or active electrode, so we are going to electrolyze aqueous solution of copper sulphate. So this will be the dissociation of the electrolyte. So the copper sulphate dissociates to give copper ions and sulphate ions, and water molecules also get ionized to give H plus and OH minus ions. Now when you pass electric current through the electrolyte, sulphate ions and OH minus ions will go to anode. At the same time, H plus ions and copper ions will go to cathode. The same thing happens whether you use platinum electrodes or copper electrodes. So in this case also, when you pass electricity through the electrolyte, the sulphate ions and OH minus ions will go to anode, and H plus ions and copper ions will go to cathode. And so at anode, OH minus ions will undergo discharge, so which will form 4 OH radicals, and these 4 OH radicals will form water molecules and oxygen. So oxygen is the product at the anode. So we will get a colorless gas at the anode. The same thing happens here at the cathode, that is discharge of copper ions. Now copper ions get discharged by taking 2 electrons, and the product will be copper metal, and this copper metal will be deposited on the cathode, so which will be in brownish pink color. So you will see brownish pink deposit at the cathode. While in case of active electrode, so at anode, instead of discharge of anions, since the anode is made up of copper metal, which is an active electrode, so it undergoes ionization to give copper ions. So this copper metal is giving or releasing copper ions, and these copper ions will go to cathode, and at the cathode, these copper ions will get discharged to give copper metal, and this copper metal will deposit on the cathode. So again here you will get brownish pink deposit on the cathode. So the difference here is when you use inert electrodes, here hydroxyl ions will undergo discharge, but when you use active electrode, instead of discharge, ionization of the metal which you have taken will undergo ionization. Right? So in these two cases, here hydroxide ions are getting discharged, and here copper metal is getting ionized at anode. So here in this case, slowly the copper ions will get discharged at cathode, so the blue color of the solution will disappear. Whereas in this case, the copper ions getting discharged at cathode, but at the same time, anode is releasing copper ions. So what happens? The blue color of the solution does not fade because anode is replacing copper ions in the solution.